On today's episode, we're going to talk about how to build self-esteem. Hey, what's up guys? Cam here, and today I'm coming at you from San Diego, California. And today we're going to talk all about self-esteem. Self-esteem is something that I really struggled with for a really long time. Actually, up until just a couple of years ago, it seemed to be a concept that just eluded me. I felt confident growing up. I felt like I had faith in my ability to succeed. I felt like I had a lot of potential. I knew I was smart. And so for me, that was more about confidence. But self-esteem, feeling good about myself, having a relationship with myself, that seemed to really be elusive. Now, I came to a point a couple years ago where I realized that I had to figure this one out. I just couldn't continue to have confidence but not have self-esteem, because not having self-esteem caused me to feel depressed. It caused me to feel anxious. It caused me to not really kind of put myself out there in the same way. And confidence was something that seemed like, you know, it could come and go. It was more dependent on the momentum I had in my life at the time, whereas self-esteem, in my opinion, was more about like what I truly believed about myself and the relationship that I had with myself. And that's exactly what Nathaniel Branden, who wrote the amazing book, The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, defines self-esteem as. He says that self-esteem is the reputation that you have with yourself. And I think that that is definitely accurate, and that's definitely what I found in my own experience. So my journey to change my self-esteem really started when I moved to Boulder, Colorado. And so this was in 2013. And I decided to start experimenting with what self-esteem meant. So the main thing that I focused on was that self-esteem was this idea of feeling proud of yourself. Self-esteem was something that, you know, if you could feel proud of who you were, that kind of meant that you had self-esteem. Now, not proud of like external things, but proud of like who you truly are. And as I experimented with that idea, it really changed my life. So one of the ways that I did that was by doing the TEDx talk. And so my definition of success for the TEDx talk had nothing to do with getting 1 million views or getting a standing ovation, and it had everything to do with feeling proud of who I was and just having no regrets about the experience. So giving my best, because I knew when I did that, I knew I would feel proud of myself for doing it, and that sense of pride would help build my self-esteem. And that's exactly what happened. I did the TEDx talk. It was crazy. It was scary. I was super anxious. I kind of failed miserably in some ways. And I look back on that and I'm like, holy crap, I did that. And it's something I can never take away from myself. And that brings me to the next point, which is, as a human being, we're really good at recognizing when we do things wrong, right? So even watching this video, if you just take a second and think about, you know, when the last time was that you were hard on yourself, it was probably 5 minutes ago, right? Even right now, I'm like, you know, is this video really that good? And I'm being hard on myself, right? So that's like our natural mode. But what happens is, because we're so hard on ourselves, and because we constantly recognize where we're not meeting our potential, where we're not doing well, we're so quick to notice that's what we tend to focus on, and that's what we tend to build our identity around. So instead of building our identity around how we're proud of ourselves, we build our identity around how we're not doing very well, or we're messing up, or we're making mistakes. And that's exactly where a lot of you guys probably find yourself right now. Is you guys have been playing video games for a long time. You guys have maybe wanted to quit, but you didn't take that step. And because of that, you're extra hard on yourself for not following through on your word. All those times that you're hard on yourself is hurting your self-esteem. It's not building it. So that's one of the key ideas, is you actually have to build your self-esteem, and you have to build it by starting to recognize yourself in the areas where you are doing well, recognizing yourself when you do follow through on your word, and starting to create more of those opportunities, right? Today, my goal was to shoot 2 videos and to write 2 chapters of my book. And at the end of this video, I'm done. I wrote 2 chapters and I shot 2 videos. So when I leave here, I need to actually take a minute to recognize myself for that. I need to actually take a minute to say, dude, you did it, like, good job. And actually talk to myself that way, because that builds self-esteem. Whereas what we normally do is, anytime we fuck up, we're like, dude, what the hell? Like, you didn't do what you said you were gonna do. But then anytime we do something well, we don't take the time to recognize ourselves for that. So there's an imbalance. Every time that you do something negative, you're calling yourself out. But anytime you do something positive, which happens more often in your day than you probably think, again, because you don't recognize it, you don't recognize yourself. There's a huge imbalance. So no wonder so many of us are walking around with poor self-esteem. So if you want to improve your self-esteem, you have to focus on building it. And the way that you build it is by doing things that you're proud of and taking responsibility for that. Self-esteem is not something that you either have or you don't. It's not something that has to stay in the same place it always has been. It's something that you can start to build, and you can start to build it by going through different experiences that you choose, that you create, that will make you feel more proud. One of them can be the 90-day detox. And I see that a lot in members who go through that, is they say, wow, I did the 90-day detox. I finally did something that I'm proud of. I finally did something that I said I was going to do. That builds self-esteem. That builds momentum. So you want to start to recognize yourself. Now, there's a couple different ways to do it. The first is just to recognize the small wins. Lower the bar for what you can actually celebrate in your life. You woke up on time. Dude, great job. You followed through on some work you said you were going to do. Great job. You go to the gym. Great job. I'm going to yoga after this. When I finish yoga, I'm going to tell myself good job. Find more excuses to tell yourself good job, because that builds positive emotion in your body. That feels good, and that encourages you to do it more. So start just recognizing all the little ways that you're actually doing well and you're doing good things. You can also keep a journal and actually write down 3 things that you recognize yourself for doing that day. Taking the time to put 3 things in your journal, and you can do that in the game quiz forum if you want, that you recognize yourself for every single day, starts to train that muscle in your body. And that makes it a lot easier to notice the areas in your life where you're doing well. And it puts your focus on that. And by focusing on that, you get to feel that more, and that improves your self-esteem. So recognizing yourself is one of the most important things. It's really changed my life, and I know it will change yours, because we're really good at doing the opposite. We're really good at recognizing when we don't do well and never giving ourselves credit ever for doing what we said we were going to do, or for trying to change our life, or for reading that good book that you want to read, or for showering in the morning if that's not something that's common for you. Whatever it is, finding time to recognize the areas in your life where you are doing well, and to give yourself credit, and to begin to build that reputation with yourself in a different way than it has been in the past, is going to transform your life. It's going to build more self-esteem, and that is something that you can be proud of. So I hope that helps you guys out. If it does, make sure you guys hit thumbs up, make sure you guys hit subscribe, and leave a comment. How would you evaluate your self-esteem right now? Is that something that you struggle with? What have you found really helped you build self-esteem? In your opinion, what is self-esteem? Feel free to share that in the comments, and I love to hear from you guys. So if you're watching this, definitely leave a comment, even if it's just to say hey, because your guys' comments are what give me more inspiration to keep going. So love to hear from you guys, and hope you guys are having a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.